Hello Game Boys and Game Girls, I'm the Game Boy Guru, and welcome to episode 17 of Re-Unboxing. This time I'm going to be looking at a full box of PlayStation games, original PlayStation games. So, let me pull this box out here. Oh, big and heavy. Tons of stuff in here. Packed to the brim. Right, so we've got Austin Powers Pinball, SpongeBob SquarePants Super Sponge Greatest Hits, Andretti Racing, Hydro Thunder, which apparently is a good conversion from what I'm told, Tomb Raider 2, Frogger Greatest Hits, Pong, It's Back, or Pong the Next Level I should say, the Buster Brothers Collection, which is a great collection of multiple Buster Brothers games, or Pang games as they're often called, Muppet Race Mania, Disney Pixar A Bug's Life. This is a collector's edition. There was three of these games that were bundled together in a slipcover. Sadly, I don't have the slipcover. I think this came with it too. Walt Disney Pictures Tarzan, Gekio Shooting King, which was a budget game. It's actually a rebranded shooter from Japan that was rebranded, originally known as Xianryu, which in itself was somewhat of a reimagining of another shoot 'em up called Dio. It was an arcade game. I think Xianryu got a Sega Saturn release in Japan, I want to say. But we saw this version here in America, which is a pretty good shoot 'em up, and it's got a bunch of extra modes that give this game a lot of replayability. Good stuff. Rampage World Tour, Shooter Space Shot. This is a pretty average shoot 'em up. It's alright. It's kind of corny as far as the dialogue and the terrible voice acting in between. But it's kind of average. Like Einhander Light. This, however, Shooter Starfighter Sandvane, is quite a good little arena shooter. Lots of fun. Got R-Type Delta and R-Types, which is just a collection of R-Type 1 and 2. It's unfortunate that they didn't put R-Type Leo on there, but what are you going to do? Got Test Drive 5 Greatest Hits, Bomberman Party Edition, Polaris Snowcross, Hot Shot Golf. Let's see here, Atari Anniversary Edition Redux, which has a whole bunch of Atari arcade games and also some interview footage. So that's pretty cool. The original Medal of Honor and Medal of Honor Underground, Driver Greatest Hits, Die Hard Trilogy Greatest Hits, The Incredible Hulk, the what is it? The Pantheon Saga. Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. The game is a little janky, but I like it. I had a lot of fun with this. A friend of mine and I played a fair amount of this when it first came out. And really enjoyed it. Of course, this is the Greatest Hits edition. Activision Classics, which has a whole bunch of Atari 2600 games by Activision. Crash Bash Greatest Hits. Ape Escape, and I put a lot of time into this game. Never finished it, so it's one I want to go back to at some point. 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. This is Kiss Pinball. And Cool Borders 4. I had a friend who really got into Cool Borders 3 and was really good at it, actually. Frogger 2, Swampy's Revenge. Spyro, Year of the Dragon, another good game. Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. Love that shiny foil cover there. Great game. Nickelodeon Rocket Power, Team Rocket Rescue, Greatest Hits. Super Bubble Pop. Tetris Plus, Greatest Hits. Croc, Legend of the Gobos, Greatest Hits. Crossroad Crisis, one of the many generic age tech games. Strikers 1945. This is actually Strikers 1945 2, but for whatever reason, Age Tech decided to drop the 2 because the first game never got a US release. Good game. I have a love-hate relationship with Psycho shoot-'em-ups, but that's definitely a good one. And I have the Japanese Saturn version as well. Spec Ops Ranger Elite. Road Rash 3D. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Got Final Fantasy Anthology here, which is Final Fantasy 5 and 6 on, looks like 2 discs here. Tempest X, which is a bit of an update of Tempest 2000. Tempest X3, excuse me. Yeah, looks good. War Games, DEFCON 1. IHRA Motorsports Drag Racing. Road Rash 3D Greatest Hits. This one is just in the sleeve, but it is Legend of Legaia, exclusive PlayStation RPG. My cousin played through that and said it was great. This is Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling 2. Creatures. Never got into that, but I've had it forever. Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation. This is Xevious 3D G Plus, or 3D Plus G. I was never a big Xevious fan, but I'm a shoot 'em up nut. Crash Team Racing Collector's Edition. Again, one of those where they packaged a bunch together. Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, Greatest Hits. And Greatest Hits of the original Crash Bandicoot. Patriotic Pinball. Project Overkill. Got Metal Gear Solid, Greatest Hits. This was my original version that I bought way back when. I made a little note on the sticker there that Disc 2 is bad. I tried to play through this for RF Generation playthrough a couple years ago and got halfway through the game, loaded up Disc 2, and it didn't work. So I couldn't finish it. But then I went and bought an original black box Metal Gear Solid. Let's see, also have... This is another Tetris Plus Greatest Hits, but it's a variant because it's got an embossed gold foil kind of logo there. We've got Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. The original Gran Turismo. There's Cool Borders 3 that my friend really got into. Pac-Man World 20th Anniversary Greatest Hits. G-Darius, great shoot 'em up. It's neck and neck between G-Darius and Darius Gaiden as to which is my favorite in the series. I haven't played Chronicle Savior yet, but I'm hoping that when I do, it won't disappoint. I've got a jewel case version of In the Hunt Sans manual that I got probably 10 years ago now. I went on vacation, went up to the Mall of America. There was a guy doing a retro video game store kind of out in the middle area on, I want to say, the 3rd floor. Anyway, I bought a couple things from him. He didn't want to sell this because it didn't have a manual, and when I told him I was into shoot 'em ups, he asked me if I had this one yet. I said no, so he gave it to me. So fantastic to have that one. I have the long box version as well, which I'll show off in another video. Rayman Greatest Hits. Einhander, absolutely fantastic shoot 'em up. I wish Squaresoft would have kept going and either made a sequel or done something else with the formula, because this is too good to just be a one-off. Namco Museum 3 Greatest Hits. Centipede. Crash Bandicoot Warped. We've got Machine Hunter, Turbo Prop Racing, Soviet Strike, Shrek Treasure Hunt, and there's Frogger again, black box this time. And here we've got Driver 2 Greatest Hits. Also have a PlayStation Interactive Sampler Disc, number 6, as you can see there. Street Fighter Alpha 3. Star Gladiator, 3D fighting game. Which, this is funny because it's Star Gladiator Episode 1 Final Crusade. So it's Episode 1, but it's the Final Crusade. Love the contradiction. And here we have Lemmings. Oh no, more Lemmings. Here's Rascal. Another copy of Ape Escape. This one is in better shape than the other one. And another copy of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I think maybe the other one was Greatest Hits. Here's a Greatest Hits version of Ape Escape. I think this was actually the first one that I had, that I played. Crash Team Racing Greatest Hits. And here is the Collector's Edition Crash Bandicoot Warped. The Italian Job. And because one can't have too much Ape Escape, here's another Ape Escape, but this time the case has a sticker on it that says requires DualShock analog controller. So a little bit of a variant there, I think. Here is classic RPG Chrono Cross. Another copy of Creatures for some reason. I'm not sure why I had two of those. Darkstalkers 3, great game. Put a lot of time into that back in the day. Unfortunately, I only have the disc for this, but this is Evil Zone. A very interesting anime-inspired fighting game. Very simple mechanics, but way over the top and cheesy. It's fun. Here is Final Fantasy VII, and it is Greatest Hits. This was my copy from when I first got my PlayStation. This was one of the first games I ever bought. Greatest Hits, Final Fantasy VIII, and also Final Fantasy IX Greatest Hits. Here is Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Put a fair amount of time into that. Lunar, Silver Star Story complete, and it is complete. It is. I've got the whole batch of stuff, and I picked this up. Wow, many years ago. Played through it. Absolutely love this game. And the same can be said for its sequel, Lunar 2, Eternal Blue. Again, this is complete. Everything is in here. The pendant and the little bag, all the little pop-up figurines, they're still in the plastic. The art book, everything. Just love this game. Both of the Lunar games are must-haves for RPG fans. We got Mega Man X4, great game. Mega Man 8 Anniversary Edition. We talk about Dr. Wiwi. And speaking of Mega Man, there's Mega Man X5. Got Nicktoons Racing. And the very famous Mobile Light Force, which is basically just Gunbird minus the story, and made with a generic cover that looks like the Charlie's Angels, going all commando. N2O, Nitrous Oxide, fun little Tempest-esque tunnel shooter with a soundtrack by the Crystal Method. And pretty cool game, very trippy, very psychedelic, cool visuals. Nuclear Strike. Oddworld, Abe's Exodus. Picked that one up dirt cheap. Was so happy to find that when I did. This is one. I remember renting this game back in the day, and very Contra-esque in a good way. 3D Tank Warfare Simulator, Panzer Front. Parasite Eve, one of my favorite PlayStation games. Absolutely love this game. Great soundtrack, cool story, still impressive cutscene animations to this day. And just fun stuff. Got Putter Golf, another generic Age Tech game. Pac-Man World 20th Anniversary Greatest Hits. Raystorm, another conversion by Working Designs. Fantastic shoot 'em up. Definitely worth checking out. Great soundtrack. Can't say enough good things about it. Same can be said for Silhouette Mirage, another Working Designs conversion. For some reason, the US version is harder than the Japanese version, so this game is very difficult, but cool anime-inspired cutscenes and story and artwork. Very goofy and elaborate. It's by Treasure. Cool soundtrack, good stuff. This, however, Soul Divide, is not so good. It's another Psycho shooter. This is another release by XS Games, who did the Mobile Light Force port. And I just can't. I can't bring myself to like this game. It's a side-scrolling shooter, character-based, sort of digitized characters, semi-Mortal Kombat-esque, but the hit detection is wonky, and there's way too many opportunities to get hit because it's hard to dodge stuff. It's just not good. Definitely not Psycheo's best. Another copy of Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. Need to probably put that in the trade pile. Same with Spyro Year of the Dragon. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I actually still like the original PlayStation game with that. Again, like Power Battles, it's kind of janky, but it sort of has a charm to it, despite all of that. So, I still think it's fun. Siphon Filter. Another one of my absolute favorite PlayStation games. I put so many hours into this, and I still want to play through it again at some point, and maybe record or stream it or something. Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not, but this is one of those lenticular covers where it's got the sort of plastic and the lines on it, and the image moves a little bit back as you move it back and forth. Really cool stuff. Another copy of The Italian Job. Not sure why. This is Sentinel Returns, which was previously played, so it must have been a rental at one point. Let's see here. This is a couple of PlayStation demo discs here. PlayStation Magazine 14, and I'm not even sure what this one, it doesn't say, but a couple of demo discs there. Siphon Filter 2, again, tons of time into Siphon Filter 2, really great stuff. Siphon Filter 3, Greatest Hits. I played through this one. I don't know if it's just because I had moved on, but I didn't like it as much as the others, and there are some parts of this game that I found to be overly difficult, but still good. Tekken 2 Greatest Hits. This was one of the first PlayStation games I bought. Played that quite a bit, but not nearly as much as Tekken 3 Greatest Hits. This game, I probably put 80 hours into this, unlocking everything and just playing it over and over and over again. So much fun. Time Crisis. Light gun shooter. Got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Xena, Warrior Princess, which it's interesting that this is kind of a 3D action game versus the N64 game, which was more of a fighting game. Ray Crisis, which is a prequel to both Ray Force and Ray Storm, aka Galactic Attack, aka Layer Section. I don't think this is as good as its two predecessors. It's a little over the top, but not in a good way. The Zintada soundtrack is still good, but it's almost to the point where it's so trippy and ethereal that it doesn't have as much identity as a lot of their other soundtracks. So I still recommend it if you're a shoot 'em up fan, but not as much as the other two. We've got Battle Tanks Global Assault and Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22, which means nothing to me. I have no idea what that even means. But it is a Dragon Ball Z fighting game, and it looks like it's still 2D graphics and not 3D. Huh. Interesting. Well, that is all for this box of original PlayStation games. Let me know what you guys think. Don't Don't be too jealous of my Lunar 1 and 2 sets. I bought these. I bought Lunar when I first heard about it, and Lunar 2 I bought as a new release because I loved the first one so much. But yeah, lots of great stuff in here. A lot of these games are games that I've had for a decade plus. There's a bunch of them in here that are newer that I've only picked up within, say, the last 3 years. But a lot of the stuff that's in here is stuff I've had for a really long time. And the PlayStation was such a great console. It kind of got me back into gaming in the late 90s, early 2000s, after I'd kind of got away from it a little bit. So make sure you follow me on Twitter at Game Boy Guru. I'll have a link in the description below to my blog where you can read my Game Boy game reviews. It's gameboyguru.blogspot.com. Also, make sure you check out Mira and his channel. He provided the Super Mario Land Overworld theme that I use as the intro music to all my videos, and he's got a lot of great chiptune and game music covers that he's done. So make sure you check those out as well. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for playing, and game on!